And welcome to the Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Short week, y'all. Of course, everybody's got Thursday off for Thanksgiving. We do work on Friday, by the way. We do have a show on Black Friday, as has sort of been customary throughout the years, mostly because well, for a lot of years, LSU played on Black Friday, obviously. And then or they played on Thanksgiving, and we were doing the show the day after the show, or they're playing on Saturday like they are this weekend, and so obviously we're previewing a game. So anyway, a short week, but short week basically is having Thursday off. But anyway, Tiger basketball is down at Grand Cayman. They won yesterday, blew out Illinois State. They'll play Akron today. KJ Williams went off, scored 33 points for LSU. Great to see. Just kind of dominated that game yesterday. So hopefully they get another one today against Akron down in Grand Cayman. And, just keep stockpiling wins, getting better, feeling better about themselves. So Pels win last night. They blew out the Warriors. Caveat, of course, is that the Warriors without Steph, Clay, and Draymond. So you basically beat the Warriors, B squad. But win is a win is a win. Zion returned for the Pels last night also. So that was really good to see. Zion get back out there for New Orleans. He did start, played 23 minutes. 9 points, 2 boards. Not a ton, but didn't need him to, right, in a game like that. So B.I. had 34. Good night for the Pels. College football playoff rankings come out tonight, so we will we'll see if USC has leapfrogged LSU in the CFP as they did in both the AP and the coaches. Something, quite honestly, I do expect. And Lane Kiffin. There was a report from a TV sports director in Mississippi that Kiffin is taking the Auburn job. So we shall see. Egg Bowl, they play on Thanksgiving. So Ole Miss, Mississippi State on Thanksgiving on Thursday, and he's reporting that Kiffin will resign from Ole Miss on Friday and take the Auburn job. So now, for whatever it's worth, Kiffin went on Twitter and quote tweeted this fella, and John Sokoloff is his name, and Kiffin quote tweeted him and was like, fake news. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly what he said. So John Sokoloff said, breaking, Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin plans to step down as Rebels coach Friday and head to Auburn to become the Tigers' next head coach, according to sources. Sources say Tigers haven't officially offered the job to anyone yet, so Lane to Auburn is happening, story soon. So Lane quote tweets this report from John Sokoloff, who is the WCBI News sports director covering Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and high school sports, Heisman voter, AP award-winning journalist from Ithaca College. Anyway, John Sokoloff, Lane Kiffin quote tweets him and says, "That's news to me, John," with a faceplant emoji, and says, "Nice sources." So, anyway, silly season is officially upon us. Okay, y'all, let's say some good morning. See what y'all got. You know the drill. Fire away, questions, comments, anything you got. Love to interact, so holler. Kelly Gross, Dane Bergeron. Good morning, Dane Bergeron. Randy Dabdoob. Good morning. Can you tell my daughter Reagan good morning? Absolutely. Good morning, Reagan. I hope you are, if you're off of school today, hope you're enjoying your day off from school or your week off from school. Hope you have an awesome day and a really great Thanksgiving. So thank you for watching with your dad today. Truex, what's good, man? Tashawn Moore, good morning, Matt. TCU and Michigan played with our emotions. I thought it was going to be a great day for LSU. Yes, Tashawn, but it could still happen. Listen, you had 2 more weeks of football, including rivalry week. And this is one thing that's for certain is, and I know Brian Kelly said, October's for pretenders, November's for contenders. And he's right. It's a funny way to say it, but still, there are always a lot of teams that clinch a little bit. You know what I mean? Clinch in November when the stakes go up. They clinch a little bit, if you know what I mean. So, not clinch. Tends to happen this time of year. You got teams that aren't used to being in that situation. So, by the way, shout out to Darren James. Got my Darren James mug. Need to sell your home? DJ's the best. Hey, Dad, good morning. Greg Duga, I think Joe Burrow is having oyster dressing on Thanksgiving. Probably not, Greg. Probably not. Randy Dabdoob. Oh, there you go. You got it, man. Of course. Hunter Broadhead, Larry Garner, good morning, happy Thanksgiving. Bill Gallion. A reminder, we will be doing Morning Scone on Thanksgiving. I mean, we were at episode 1,704 consecutive days we've done this show. So we will be doing a show on Thanksgiving, like every holiday. So we'll see y'all Thursday here for sure. Jason H., good morning. Bad News Birds, bleed out Golden State. Blew out Golden State. Yes, again, no Clay, no Steph, no Draymond. So that obviously was a big part of it, but still, man, they all count the same. So you want to give your guys a night off and rest them? Okay, we'll chalk off that dub. Let's go. Wendell Norman, let's see, Bill Gallion. Lane said in an interview he was good at Ole Miss. I don't believe it. I think he leaves. Okay. Bill, I think a year ago, we might have talked about this here. I think a year ago, Lane, I know, a year ago, Lane was looking for the escape hatch. I don't think, from the people that I know who cover that program, know him, etc., he didn't like rural northern Mississippi small town life at a school where he knew he couldn't win a national championship. I mean, this is a guy who's been in the NFL. He's been in LA at USC. Even when he was at a small school like FAU, or a small program, I should say, he's still there in Boca. I mean, you're just a few miles north of Miami. You know what I mean? So then you go to Oxford, Mississippi, a little culture shock, right? Maybe not culture shock, might not be the way to say it, but it's a lifestyle change, right? I think what's kind of been expressed to me over the last, during this season for sure, is that I think Lane's really come to appreciate it. The time that Ole Miss came to him in his life, and I might be a little surprised if he leaves. The big question is understanding, look, you're not going to win a national championship at Ole Miss. So does he want to go somewhere where he will have the resources to win a national championship? And the answer to that may be yes, but that still may not be Auburn. He may not want to go to Auburn. Let's see, Armstrong Grappling. What area of the game does LSU hold an advantage over Georgia? I mean, candidly, and someone asked me that yesterday too, and I was like, can we please talk about that next week? Like, my brain isn't, like, I'm not focused on breaking down that matchup yet. I'm not saying we can't talk about it. I'm not saying one game at a time. I'm just telling you, like, I haven't broken down the matchup yet. I mean, I'll tell you offhand, I think LSU with an athletic front seven could cause problems for Stetson Bennett, who has, and I don't even know if I would say this is an advantage. I just think this is, an area where LSU could have success. Athletic defensive front, I think, could give Stetson Bennett problems, and he has shown a propensity to be careless with the football. So I think there's opportunities for LSU to maybe force turnovers and certainly get stops. Now, can you move the ball and score on their defense? Tricky. Joseph felt well. Kiffin changes teams more than any coach I've ever heard of. No, that's not true. That's just a symptom of the coaching profession. I mean, look at who was it that's it's not House. Oh, who is it? It's one of the assistants that's on his third team in as many years. I'm blanking. Anyway, yeah, that's just not true. Like, coaches leave, coaches jump jobs, coaches look to be upwardly mobile. I mean, that's just the nature of the profession. Go look at any coach's career arc, and you'll see 15 stops. I mean, it's just the nature of it. You know, just the nature of the business. You're generally hired to get fired, and you moved on. Like, let's look at Sonny Dykes. I mean, Sonny Dykes has been at Tech, Cal, SMU, TCU. I mean, here you go. All right, here's Sonny Dykes. High school running back coach in 94, 95 Navarro Junior College. He was also there in 96. 97, he was a GA at Kentucky. 98, went to Northeast Louisiana. 99, back to Kentucky. 2000 to 2004, Texas Tech. Wide receiver coach. Was the OC there for 2 years. 3 years at Arizona. Then went to Tech for 3 years. Then went to Cal. Then to TCU as an analyst. Then to SMU for 1 year. SMU as the head coach for 3 years, and now he's at TCU. I mean, bro, like, that's just what coaches do, bro. It's just a transient business, man. You don't set roots. It's rare someone stays one place for a decade plus. You don't set roots. Tim Gotro, good morning. Chance Babin, sounds like Derek Davis will stay at running back next season. It sounded like that, didn't it? Brian Kelly said, when asked about it, I said, should have moved him there earlier. Maybe so. He sure looked natural, didn't he? For not having played the position at all this year. Brad David, were you at the Les Miles press conference when he denied he was leaving for Michigan? Not only was I there, Brad, I was standing 10 feet from Les Miles in 07, yeah. It was the day of the SEC championship game against Tennessee, and it was at the Georgia Dome at the time. And the way that was configured, if you've ever been, there was this long bridge that went from the CNN Center that ran along the World Congress Center straight into the Georgia Dome. And so I was eating at Jocks and Jill's, which was the restaurant / sports bar in the CNN Center, and we all start getting these alerts that Les has called an emergency press conference before the game. So I just scrambled and ran over to the Georgia Dome, and it was Skip, Sean O'Keefe, remember the NASA guy who was the chancellor at the time, and and Les, and Skip and Sean O'Keefe sit up there on the dais, and Les goes up to the podium and gave his talk, and I had a handheld recorder. I wonder if I still have this. A handheld recorder is before they had digital ones, or before digital ones were common. It was like a little mini tape, like a little mini cassette, one of those little bitty mini cassette tapes. And I held it up to the speaker to be able to record it. So I was at the speaker. If you're facing left, the speaker on the right of the dais, I was just standing right there holding the recorder up to the speaker to get better audio. And he did his whole have a great day thing. I think we all looked and went wait, so is he leaving? It wasn't, I think he meant for it to be definitive, and it wasn't completely definitive. He just said, I'm the LSU coach. I'm going to be the LSU coach. Like he didn't outwardly and adamantly deny the Michigan rumors. Anyway, it was an interesting day, to be certain. Weston Weaver, Michael Castello, good morning from Destin. Okay, dude. Shane Henry, Brian Wynn, Jared Esprit, morning, Matt. How do you think the game against A&M will go? I think A&M will put up a good fight. I just don't think they have enough talent to beat LSU. They're just not a good team, especially offensively. I don't think they can score. JT10, I know Sugar and Orange Bowl are based on ranking, but is there a scenario where LSU could finish any worse than the Cotton Bowl? LSU cannot go to the Cotton Bowl. That's what I'm telling you. LSU cannot go to the Cotton Bowl because of tie-ins. The only way LSU could go to a Cotton Bowl in this scenario is if the Cotton Bowl were part of the CFP, the College Football Playoff, the semis, and you made it. LSU couldn't go to the Cotton because of tie-ins. Lucy B, morning, Matt. Didn't Terrio predict LSU to go 10-2 in AFR? I'll need to pull it up. I think he picks them to go 10-2 every year. That or 12-0. Jared Esprit, like last year, he picked him 11-1. Yeah. Jared Esprit, by the way, it's cooking with hot grease, not gas. Shouldn't have listened to Muso. I knew he wouldn't know that. Got it. I think I said oil, and then he said, no, it's gas. I was like, cooking with gas? Anyway, cooking with grease, that's the expression, yes, thank you. Brad David, why did Alabama agree to play South Florida next season? I don't know. Nikki C, which coach is more likely to leave their respective team for Auburn? Lane Kiffin or Hugh Freeze? Well, Nikki C, I think there also has to be interest on both parts. And the other thing I'll tell you about Hugh Freeze is when Hugh Freeze was booted, was fired at Ole Miss, I mean, there was also very much, there was a time where I think there has been interest in hiring Hugh Freeze as an OC in the SEC, and the league offices basically said, yeah, we're not doing that. Now, the league office can't make a team hire or not hire somebody, but you can strongly advise against it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that was funny. Casey Smith said, Kiffin also tweeted that John Sokoloff will be taking another job in the media. He reported the same thing, which was about him leaving for another job, which is funny. And then the guy who has that job presently was like, oh man, am I getting fired? That's pretty good. Thomas Lamont, morning, Matt. Starting to get concerned about the women's basketball team. Their scoring total has gone down every game. Time to hit the panic button. That is firmly tongue-in-cheek. For those that don't know, the women have scored over 100 all 5 of their games this year. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Coming to you live from Houston. Celebrated Colby's birthday yesterday. She says hi, hashtag Team Drew. Well, good morning, Cliff. Good morning, Colby. And thanks for watching. Happy birthday. Belated happy birthday to my friend. I hope you all have an awesome time hanging out. Have a great, great day. Great week. Reed Rule, morning, Scone. If LSU loses to Georgia, shouldn't we still have an edge over Tennessee for New Year's Six Bowl? Why would New Year's Six take Tennessee without Hendon Hooker? No, for sure, Reed. I mean, I think that was one of the big takeaways. That was one of the really big takeaways from Tennessee's loss is, the worst case scenario for LSU would have been they don't make the playoff, lose to Georgia. Tennessee doesn't make the playoff. Well, then Tennessee goes sugar and Bama goes orange and LSU goes citrus. That would have been the concern. Now, what likely happens is if LSU loses to Georgia, either Bama or LSU go sugar, and the other goes to the orange, and then Tennessee goes citrus. Brett DeGrow, morning, Scone. What's the chance New Year's Six is manipulated if Tulane gets into match with LSU in the Sugar Bowl? It can't be manipulated that way, Brett. Again, there are tie-ins, so it will be SEC against Big 12. So very likely, y'all may like to hear this, the opponent, provided TCU wins the Big 12 and goes to the playoff, the opponent who would represent the Big 12 in the Sugar Bowl would be Kansas State. Trivia Carter, good morning. Matt Lusto, good morning. Jared Esprit, you can't be perfect all the time. You're still my guy. Great takes. You're talking about the gas thing? Yeah, or the cooking with grease? Yeah, I'm totally fine. I don't cook, so I don't really know the expression or anyway. But yes, makes sense. But thank you. Debo, morning Scone. I'm rankings don't matter, but do you see USC making the jump above us this week? I do. I think USC does make the jump over LSU this week. And similarly, I don't know that I believe it matters. I think the committee has shown time and again that they will do whatever they want to do and explain it later. And I think, what you're really pulling for here in the next 2 weeks is a USC loss, either this week to Notre Dame. How interesting is that? And just conflicting that you have to pull for Notre Dame to help LSU and their new coach. And LSU's new coach was Notre Dame's old coach, and Notre Dame could do LSU a gigantic favor if they beat USC. Pretty interesting. But yes, would be great if USC lost this week, and I think a Clemson loss helps as well. You would really like to see, Clemson get bumped from the playoff. You basically just want to muddy the water. If you have a whole bunch of 2-loss champions, that opens the door for LSU, because LSU would have the strongest case of the 2-loss champions being a 2-loss champion of the SEC. So you would love for there to be a 2-loss Pac-12 champion. You would love for there to be a 2-loss ACC champion. I mean, if Kansas State upsets TCU to win the Big 12 championship, that would be huge. So, Leon Williams, good morning. Roxy J, we play USC and UCLA in 2024, I think. Yes, you play both in the same year. You open up against USC in Vegas and then play UCLA in Baton Rouge. Brad Hoke, if we were to lose the SEC championship, just pair us up with Clemson for a bowl. That's more interesting than a rematch with K-State. Well, Brad, the way that could happen is in the Orange Bowl. If Clemson does not make here's your hypothetical how that could happen, okay? Let's say LSU loses to Georgia, and the committee puts Bama ahead, let's say a spot ahead of LSU. Let's say 2-loss Bama is 5 and 3-loss LSU is 6, hypothetically, okay, whatever. Well, Bama would go to the Sugar Bowl and take on likely K-State. LSU would go to the Orange Bowl and take on Clemson, provided Clemson, if Clemson wins the ACC but doesn't make the playoff, they would go to the Orange Bowl. So that's how you could see an LSU-Clemson matchup in the Orange Bowl. Let's see. Craig Dugas, y'all need to make a retro 80s Hudco rope hat. What's a rope hat? I don't know what a rope hat is. I know what a trucker hat is, if that's what you mean. Bob Poole, good morning. Sam Dixon, hoping the Tigers put an emphatic stomping on A&M to put an exclamation point on capturing the West this season. What a wild ride it's been. It's only year 1 for Kelly. Cade Galt, good morning. Want to see Eric Gilbert get in the game and Perkins make the play on him for LSU to win the game. I don't. Yeah, sure. I don't really care how it would happen. I would love to see it happen. I would love to see LSU win the game. Paul Batts think Lane might be holding out till Saban retires. Maybe. Michael Thacker, morning, Matt. How can D. Davis get a red shirt after playing 12 last year? I thought once eligibility clock started, it didn't stop. Nope. You could take a red shirt in any of your years if you don't play. It does not have to be your first year. That's just what commonly happens. So he played, Miles Brennan did the same thing. Miles played in 2017 and then redshirted behind Burrow in 2018. So Derek Davis played 12 games last year as a true freshman and then played only 4 this year. So they're shutting him down for the year, so he will take a redshirt year to have an extra year of eligibility. Let's see, Kate. It's a very tough game. LSU is the most resilient team we've seen in a long time, referring to all the comebacks this year. Yeah, I don't know that A&M is going to be a very tough game. I mean, I get that for them it's a big game because it's going to be their last game of the year and it's a chance maybe to spoil LSU season and all that stuff, which I understand. I get all those dynamics. The reality, though, is just A&M is not good. They're just not a good football team. So, I mean, boy, it's hard to imagine against LSU's defense that offense getting anything going. I mean, I guess if LSU goes and turns it over 3-4 times, like if you have the Arkansas scenario, right, where you go and you give them the short field a couple of times and just hand them points, and maybe, but. Ryan Amanda Gidry, good morning. Bubba Smith, Paul Losi, James Kelly. Does USC jump LSU in the CFP? I think they will today. I do. I think USC will jump LSU today. Kirk Elgin, good morning. Been a minute, man. Hope you're doing great. Thanks for hopping on here. Randy Smith, good morning. Roy Brooks, what do you mean Roy Brooks? We guess like Jaquelin Roy and Greg Brooks. Both playing. Both have the opportunity to return next year. It would be great if they did. Chase Pellegrin, Cole Havert. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Got to get rolling. Scotty McCarty, good morning. Ed Check, good morning. Don't miss quotes from LSU journalism professor in New York Times article on college sports gambling. Okay. I mean, I would actually try not to read the New York Times at all. They just wrote a hatchet piece on Olivia Dunn, and they wrote a hatchet piece this week on Dave Portnoy as well. I don't really respect tremendously the job they do. Wayne Blanchard, good morning. Ryan Dixon, how does running back room look? Don't think Emory makes sense against A&M. Only way they can beat us is turnovers. I mean, I think it's fair to say Noah Cain probably runs number 2 behind Josh Williams this week, but you got to have John Emory in the game, man. He's too dynamic. You got to believe that you can coach a guy. You can coach ball security, and that should be the only thing he's working on this week. Dane Bergeron cooking with peanut oil, the Duck Commander. Kirk Taylor, good morning. After some thought, new Mount Rushmore of LSU running backs: Cannon, Alexander, Falk, Fournette. Okay. Excited to watch LSU defeat the Maggies by 40 with Cecilia. I don't know that LSU is going to win the game by 40, Kirk. This isn't exactly the 2019 offense, but I do think LSU will win the game, yes. Morning, Matt. Your favorite turkey or ham? Ham for me. No. Fried turkey, bro. Fried turkey. Cajun injected fried turkey, dog. Chase Pellegrin. It would be tough to see the committee put Bama ahead of LSU and Tennessee in that scenario. Maybe, but LSU would be a 3-loss team. And at that point. So we'll see. Dax Jeter, who's your favorite LSU player when you were 8 to 10 years old? Mine was Dalton Hilliard. I had Hodson for Heisman poster in my room. So Dax, I had the Hodson for Heisman poster as well. Got to keep in mind, man. So when I was 8 to, that would have been 1990, 91, 92. I was born in 82. So 90, 91, 92, I would tell you my favorite player on those teams would have been Todd Kinchin. I had a Hodson for Heisman poster, of course. But, man, those were some bad teams, you know. So it was – those are bad teams, man. It was tough, but love Todd Kinchin. I got a really cool picture, actually. I think I've told you this before, but it's from Fan Day. And Harvey Williams. Should mention Harvey. Harvey was awesome. We got a picture at Fan Day. My dad took me and my brother, and we took a picture with Todd Kinchin. And so Todd's sitting in a chair, and my brother and I are on either side of him. But behind us is Coach Dale Weiner and young Neil Weiner, because Todd played at Chapel Trafton for Dale. And so Dale was there to see Todd, and they were right behind us. So my future high school coach is this photo bombing a picture of me and Todd Kitchen from 19. That had to be 1990 or 91. Blaine Smith, what do you think about Kiffin to Auburn? Is it true? I don't know if it's true. I have no clue if it's true. I would, and it's definitely not a lateral move. Here's the reason, Blaine. Auburn won a national title in 2010, played for another one in 2013, had an undefeated season in 2004, had an undefeated season in 2008, but they were ineligible, right? Not 2008, 90, I'm sorry, 93, excuse me, under Terry Bowden. You can win a national championship at Auburn. You cannot win a national championship at Ole Miss. That's why it's an upgrade. You have more resources, facilities, NIL money, all of it. You got a lot of headaches too, but Auburn is most definitely an upgrade from Ole Miss. Sam Sansing, good morning. Todd Harris, you need to get 4 back in the game. Confidence gone if he doesn't get back in there. Tony Cortello. Todd Harris, I graduated high school in 82. Hey, bro. So you're 58. So I made 40 this year. I mean, I'm not old, but I'm also not a young guy, at 40. But, all right, I got to go quickly, God. It's 8:07. Okay, real quick. Joseph Feltwell, North Carolina loss, Georgia Tech. But if they beat Clemson, does that mean no ACC in the playoffs? Absolutely. Brian Wynn, if we could just get that Florida State game back, great season regardless. Brian, I mean, that's part of it. But the other thing is you lost on your home field. You got blown out on your home field by Tennessee. When people talk about LSU, they don't talk about Florida State. They talk about getting blown out at home by Tennessee. So, I mean, that was Reese Davis' whole point, right? You had a head-to-head loss to Tennessee. They blew you out on your home field. Now, Tennessee lost, so they're out of the conversation, but that's the thing that hurts more. Do you think South Carolina can repeat against Clemson? Boy, tough to get up again, man. The way they got up last week, to get up again on the road, tough. How do you feel about the SC getting rid of divisions? Hey, JT10, that's not news. Talked about it a little bit last week. I know somebody reported that last week like it was news. Greg Sankey has literally been saying that since the spring. We've known divisions are going away. That's not news. The only question really is, do they play 8 or 9 conference games? And do they maintain some permanent opponent structure? But divisions going away, we knew that was happening. Do you think they'll move up the OU Texas joining the SEC? I don't know. I'm not confident enough to say right now. Which means if I had to say now, I would say no. But and the problem's Oklahoma. Texas could pay the exit penalty immediately. Oklahoma can't, and that's the problem. Bama might back into the CFP with enough chaos. No, they will not, Debo. 100% guarantee you. Because what would happen is if it ends up with 2 lost teams, they would take a 2-loss conference champion over a 2-loss Bama. So Bama will not get in. Bama is out. I'm telling you with absolute certainty, Bama is out. They will not get in. Spurge, what's up? Weston Weaver, rematch to K-State would be incredible retribution. Eddie Stanford, I think a 2-loss SEC champion. LSU would pass 1-loss non-conference champ TCU. No. Eddie said just as they passed 1-loss Kansas in 07. No. That was the BCS, okay? The BCS was a mathematical formula, right, where the computers were running the inputs to spit out a BCS ranking from all these different, Ken Palm, or not Ken Palm, but you know what I mean. They took all the different computer rankings and dumped them into the system and spit out the numbers. So that wasn't That wasn't a subjectivity of people sitting in a room deciding who plays. So that's not a good comp at all, because that was a mathematical formula. This is going to be people sitting in a room deciding what they want to do. And I do think that there's a good chance 2-loss LSU, if they beat Georgia, could leapfrog TCU. Leapfrog, but no pun intended, but a good one. But I think Georgia is in either way, and undefeated Big Ten champ is in either way. So I think the bigger threat, quite honestly, for LSU is a one-loss USC. One-loss USC winning the Pac-12 is getting in. I'm telling you right now. One-loss USC, if they win the Pac-12, they're getting in. None of y'all want to hear that, but that's going to happen. They beat USC or UCLA. They beat Notre Dame this weekend. They beat Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. One-loss Pac-12 champ USC is getting in. Their only loss on the road by a 2-point conversion on the last play, like that, I'm certain of that. So that's your bigger threat. You need USC to lose. I gotta go. It's 8:11. I gotta go. William Moore, Ohio State, Michigan Saturday, or is it late? Noon Saturday? It's late. That's always a noon game. That's always the noon game on Fox or ABC. Is it ABC? Hold on. Noon. 11 a.m. of course, Central. Fox. Let's see, Jordan McNeese, Ronnie Duga. Any idea what the break even is tomorrow? Yeah, Ronnie. Like they're doing a Buffalo Trace break even. So it's like Weller, Blanton's, I think Stagg Jr. They're doing like a lot of the Buffalo Trace, like multiple offerings from Buffalo Trace break even. That's for Scone and T tomorrow at Oliver Twitch. Y'all come see us. All right, I got to go. Sorry for those of y'all that I missed. Taylor Cassinier, Chance Babin. Okay. Now, Eddie, you're like, but you're not comparing apples to apples. Like that was a mathematical formula. Like the committee right now and pollsters are telling you they respect TCU as an undefeated team right now. So I'm not telling you definitively that if TCU loses, they're getting in. As a matter of fact, I think if they lose their conference championship game, they would not be in. But if you're talking about even if TCU were to lose to Iowa State and win the Big 12 championship and a spot were available, I'm telling you, I've seen it too many times. The committee will take the path of least resistance. They'll take the one-loss team over the two-loss team. That's why you need the one-loss teams you need Clemson to lose. You need SC to lose. Like I would even concede a spot like to Michigan, Ohio State winner, the undefeated wins the Big 10. TCU undefeated wins the Big 12. Georgia's getting in no matter what. That your best case is if it's 2-loss SEC champ LSU against 2-loss Pac-12 champ, 2-loss ACC champ. Like that's your best bet. All right, gotta go. Patrick Kason, good morning. John Bro, morning Matt. KJ Williams dominated yesterday. He did, it was awesome. Chewy. All right, gotta go. All right, y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. And Eddie, it doesn't even matter if it's a non-conference champion. What I'm like you're saying that they would be guaranteed to get in. I'm telling you, they would still take a one-loss conference champion. They would take They would take SC. They would take one-loss Clemson winning the ACC over 2-loss LSU. The committee will take a one-loss conference champion over LSU. So you need help. This is my point. Okay, I gotta go. Oh God, it's 8:15. I gotta go. All right, y'all have a great day. See y'all for AFR 3. Peace.